Let's go ahead and hear from our winning crew chief. That's Darren Grubb of the number 11 FedEx Express Toyota. With Joe Gibbs Racing comes the man of the hour, Denny Hamlin. Darren, let me put that thought on hold here for a second.
Denny! Cool.
I didn't even have to buy you.
It'll cost you.
Okay, our race winner for the second time in his career, winning the Sprint Unlimited, Denny Hamlin. And he drives the number 11 FedEx Express Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. He's joined by his crew chief, Darren Grubb, and team president, J.D. Gibbs. Denny, last time we did one of these deals, it was at Homestead, Miami. You were the race winner. You win here at the Sprint Unlimited. It's got to feel like you got a little mojo going.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a great start to the Speed Weeks, obviously, and this is a very small part of what goes into this weekend or these 2 weeks. But obviously, it feels good to have all the accomplishments that we've had in such a short amount of time, and we were motivated anyway to for the start of this year, and obviously. Expectations were really high within our team, but this obviously gives us even more.
Thank you, Denny. And Darren, certainly, as Denny alluded to, getting off to a quick start here at Speed Weeks, fast in practice, certainly class of the field here tonight. And just talk about how that can parlay into the big race a week from tomorrow, the 56th running of the Daytona 500.
It's just a big deal all the way around, having the win at the end of the season last year to boost our confidence after the year we had, and then starting the season off this year with all the other changes and things going on, and a lot of work, a lot of new equipment, a lot of new faces, and still coming to the racetrack and performing. We're really looking forward to getting this season kicked off, and now we're looking for going out there and getting points.
And JD, again, just talk about this 11 car. And the way that it's not only finished the season last year, but started off the season so far this year. And, oh, by the way, Kyle Busch had a pretty good race here tonight as well.
Yeah, it was great to finish last season the way we did at Homestead. And it's so great to start the season here in Victory Lane tonight. So we just we're so proud of Darian and Denny and the whole team. And I think our whole team does a really good job. So we're looking forward to this year.
Good deal. We'll take questions right now. We'll start right here. SB Nation, we'll go to Tom, and over here to Stan, and then Mike.
Jordan Bianchi, SBNation.com. Denny, in 2010, when you had your knee issues, you were very motivated. You won 8 races that season. Is this a similar situation where you're coming back now? You want to prove to everybody, I'm the old Denny Hamlin?
I mean, more so, I'd like to prove it to myself. Homestead, kind of came out of the blue, especially had how our year had went. But I started feeling better, and I realized, after the win in Homestead and how I was feeling, that we run as good as I feel, and when I feel comfortable in the car, and especially in long runs and everything, I can do just about anything I need to do to be a race winner. And so it's more proving it to myself than proving it to other people. You don't want to like to talk about what you're going to do. I'd like to just show what we can do.
Let's go here to Tom, then we'll go back to Lewis, and then over to Stan.
Congratulations, Denny. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com. I asked you when you were in here the other day about winning this 2006. How does this compare?
It's different. I mean, it's a lot of the same, lot different. Obviously, when you win anything, it helps a lot of things. It really helps with team morale. And even though these guys work as hard as they can, no matter what, it's just you got your chest poked out a little bit. You got your head up. It gives you a little bit more confidence, everyone. And we have a couple key different guys within our road team, pit crew that are small changes with our race team, but we still got the core group that have been with this team for a long time, and so it's good to get them a win. It's good to get Darren and myself a win, and winning never hurts anything, especially when you finish a year with a win and then start the year with a win. It's just, you think the sky's the limit. You think you can win every race from here on out.
Okay, let's go to Lewis, Stan, Mike Vega, Mike Embry.
Yes, Lewis Frank of Reuters. Denny, could you take us through that last pass? And were you on 2 new tires or 4?
We chose to take 2. A lot of the reason we decided to we took 2 on the mandatory pit stop, and then when the 18 got sideways, I felt like I locked up the left front. I might not have, but it would put it in question. So we decided to come in and take 4 tires. I believe that before 5 laps to go or something like that, 6 laps to go, and obviously I didn't like where I was at, being towards the back of the pack with very few cars. Passing is going to be tough no matter what aero package they have in these cars. The fewer the cars, the tougher it is to get runs. And that's probably what saved us at the end of the race, is that those few guys that were left were fighting each other versus, lining up and getting a run on us once we got out there so far. But I had my teammate back there, and I didn't for the previous run, but he got his car fixed good enough to where he restarted either right in front or behind me. But anyway, he got around me, and so we had an opportunity to push him wherever he wanted to go. And the lanes started opening up, and me and Kyle started getting huge runs towards the front, and just started picking them off one by one over a course of a lap and a half. And then once I pushed him beside the 2, I had somebody behind me, and I backed off and got a big enough gap to where I knew I was going to have to make a decision whether to push him or try to get the win for ourselves. And had it been a few more laps left, I definitely would have pushed him. But coming to the white, I felt like if I got clear of those guys 3 wide, getting into turn 3, it'd be tough for them to beat us. So luckily, by an inch or 2, we got clear of our teammate, and obviously got a good 1-3 finish. And the gamble paid off.
Over here to the left to Stan, then we'll go Mike Vega, Mike Embry.
Stan Creekmore with RPMTonight.com. Darren, did you say anything to Denny before that final pass, which led to victory? And did you know that maybe he had a little something more that just hadn't been shown yet?
We knew the car was fast just from some of the other moves he had pulled off earlier in the race, and kind of starting up front, falling to the back, and then working his way back up front. So we knew there was potential there, but there was a lot more cars on the track at that point, and we knew we didn't have a whole lot of help out there at that point. Everybody's fighting for themselves, but didn't really have to say anything. With the 20 to go, just told him it was all in his hands at that point, and we ended up having to do another pit stop after that because we did slide the tires there trying to dodge a couple of the wrecks. So he did a great job with that and kept the car in one piece, and went and did the rest himself.
Let's go to Mike Vega, Mike Embry. Jim Utter.
Hi, Mike Vega, Boston Globe. Denny, and I'd like maybe JD and Darren, if you could kind of chime in as well on this one. It's kind of a broader question, but Denny, you alluded to the core group, and it seems like the 48, it's no secret their success has been rooted in their consistency. To what extent do you think the continuity is an important thing? You got the same sponsor, you got the same equipment, same crew chief. Can you speak to that, and how will that help you guys maybe get over the top and beat the 48?
Well, I think Darren probably would be the best to answer because he's in the shop every day with those guys. But my opinion on it is that when you keep the same core group and they get to working with each other year after year, they kind of know each other's nuances and can know where the other guy left off because they've been working together for a long time. And when you throw a couple new pieces in, sometimes you don't know their work habits and you don't know exactly how things go. Nowadays, everything's so checklisted that it probably doesn't mean as much. We lost our car chief at the end of last year, who's been with us for a long time. He's in our shop now, moved up in position. And, we brought Wesley on. He was on the 18 a couple years ago. And so that's a key position, having the car chief change over in the offseason. So he's going to be working with our group, our mechanics that's been working on our car for the last few years now. And so I think that it just helps when the guy working right next to you. There's less chance for mistakes that way.
Yeah, I can just add to that. It just makes our entire organization stronger because the changes that have been made and we're doing that. It's for guys that want to come off the road at the right time in their life, and it actually gives them a boost in position. It actually makes the departments at the shop even stronger because we have the road crew experience and that they know exactly what we need as a race team. And we've realigned our whole organizational structure about supplying the three teams that we have with great teammates and giving us every tool we need to have when we go to the racetrack to be able to be competitive.
Yeah, basically, I agree with both these guys, and I think anytime you make a change and someone that's been with your team for a long time and has done a great job, it just helps benefits the team. So one of our guys has been on the road forever, wanted to do something at the shop. He'll do a great job at the shop, and the guy we promoted, I think, will do a great job at the track as well.
Do you feel the continuity that you've shown is now maybe on par with what, has it become championship caliber, championship level?
Yeah, I think it's always been that way, at our shop. We just haven't won a championship in a long time. So hopefully we have a shot this year.
I think the Gibbs organization in general is, when you look at the dominance of the 48, and there's a couple, there's some championships thrown in there with Darren and Tony and Paul and Brad these a couple years before, but the JGR cars, whether it be the 18, the 20, or 11, are constantly the ones knocking on the door to the dominance of the 48. So you keep knocking, you'll have things go your way, and give me that opportunity I had in 2010 back at Homestead, and I can promise a different outcome.
Let's go to Mike Embry, Jim Utter, Bob Pockris.
Mike Embry, USA Today. Denny, interesting dynamic at the end of the race with so few cars. You'd think it would be easier to win the race, but like you said, everybody was being kind of selfish and so not hooking up and all. Because of that, did you think when you made your move, you had to make a big sweeping, take everybody at one time kind of move to have a shot at winning?
Yeah, and that was the thing is when I had the opportunity to make it three wide or push the 18, I knew if I pushed the 18, that would stall my momentum for at least a lap. And we were coming to the white anyway, so I had a huge run, and I needed to just keep that momentum going. If I did, now, had we not cleared the 18, we probably would have been 6th or 7th. I mean, it was that close into turn 3, whether it was going to be a winning move or, a goat move. So, I mean, it's just it was that close, and it's just that inches make or break you. And for us, it was a decision that I made, and it worked out good for us. The 18 probably would have won if we would have pushed them, but obviously we had 2 out of 3 shots to win it. But I got to be selfish for myself and my team that work so hard on this car every week.
Jim Utter, Bob Pockris.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. Denny, in the kind of like in the immediate aftermath of your victory at Homestead, you sounded a lot like the victory was sort of a relief. And in the last month and a half through the media tour and January testing, you've talked a lot more about kind of it was more of a reaffirmation that you were as good as you were before the accident. Now, having won here tonight, how do you look at it now? Is it more of a continuation of picking up where you left off in November, or do you feel like you could even be better than you were before?
Physically, I feel like I can be better than I was before. I feel like at the start of this season, I feel as good physically in the car over the course of long runs, better than I have I can't even remember, probably rookie season maybe. But on the other hand, the realist in me knows that this is super speedway racing. It is different. Once we get to the other tracks, 3-4 races down into the schedule, I'll know where we stand as far as are we fully back to ourselves. Obviously, there's nothing that takes away from what we did tonight because, super speedway racing, while sometimes it is by chance, it's not necessarily by chance that you win every segment, lead most of the laps and win the race and happy hour and best pit crew off pit road. That shows strength, and so that can't be taken for granted.
Bob Pockris?
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Kyle Busch said that you're on a mission. I mean, do you have a different attitude this year than a year ago?
I don't know if my attitude's different. Attitude changed after California for sure. You're always excited about starting the season, but for me, it was more about really starting the season strong to just totally forget about 2013. And I'm sure the questions will always continue. And I said during the media tour, look, I don't want any more questions about last year once we start this year. But I understand that they're still going to be coming. And it's just, I don't want to relive it. It was a horrible year and definitely a year that you choose to forget. But obviously this is huge motivation and confidence that we can do a lot of great things when all the pieces fall right for us.
Any further questions? Jay, finish right here.
What did you see when the pace car caught on fire? If you ever, we've seen jet dryers, we've seen all kinds of stuff, but is that a first for you guys?
It should have been driving a Camry. That's all. Yeah, I saw smoke. I thought he had a right rear going down, honestly. And I thought it was tire smoke until I saw flames. And then I realized Brett was then on a mission to find the emergency vehicle.